gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's 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 gonna be a good day. Yo, set your affirmations, that's
the power of nature can bring you to the end of your life. And you should know by my smile and the look in my eyes that you're about to be massively forced to give up. Chicken attack, chicken attack. But you're back before it fades to black. They may look harmless, but they can more chicken ass. Go chicken go, go chicken go. Now gonna fly, you on the sky. With the power of nature, you're never alone, and you can't let it alone. Every beast, every tree follows me to the end, and you're about to be massively fucked. Chicken attack, chicken attack. But you are back before it fades to black. They may look harmless, but they can more chicken ass. Go chicken go, go chicken go. Now gonna fly, you on the sky. You're young and you're hungry, perhaps short on money. I give you this chicken today. It's eggs for your dinner, it's legs for next winter. You won't have to steal again. Go chicken go, go chicken go. Now gonna fly, you on the sky. All out the air, all out the air, all out the air.
What's up, what's down? Tell me something going round. Let's discuss the light of day. Spitting truth, come with me. What's up, what's down? Nothing's ever out of bounds. There has to be a better way. Always something of a better play. Hero Shack Day. Hero Shack Day. Hero Shack baby things. Hero Shack, hey. Hero Shack, yeah. Hero Shack daily things.
Well, hello. Welcome to Hero Shack Daily Things. What is this? Episode 22, I think.
Yes.
How are you?
We're live. Oh my God. I was like,
whoa, what? We're live? Oh, the kitty's with me in the dark.
of course, my dogs are with me. Both girls are sound asleep. It's freezing out. I don't know what is going on with this temperature, but it's not fun. I am very cold. Very, very cold.
Well, this is still spring. I mean, this is part of it. You know, we're going to be getting warmer as we go.
I know, but still.
By the way, I see the chat. Yes, I acknowledge we're actually on episode 24.
Would you say 23?
Or 2, I might have said. I don't know.
I know. 24.
Thursday.
Well, it's Saturday, so like, yeah. It's kind of how we roll around here. We never know what we're doing.
Well, we're at $2,020 to 202%.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
Can't complain.
No, that's awesome.
We've got like 2 days to go,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very happy.
I am too. Sorry.
Your timing on that was great.
No, sorry.
I actually have something I clipped today.
Oh,
and,
do you now?
I put together a quick little video that we can watch and then discuss. The board might want to open up. I don't know. It might be old news. I don't know. You know me.
Well, I don't know what you are going to really talk about.
Yes, you do. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know, but I don't know because you
I know, because you really don't know what I did.
Yeah, well.
Which I didn't do much. I just clipped a couple of things that I want to talk about.
Okay, well.
So I'll let the whole video play. It's about a 2.5-minute video, I think.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
All right. Are you sitting?
Mm-hmm.
No, of course you are.
No, I'm not.
Learning about them,
right
and I'm looking at some of the material that they produced. I'm judging their art from the past. I find it to be sadistic. I find it to be dark. They're
independent horror films. I mean,
horror, right?
American Mary is like a classic. Dead Hooker in a Trunk is a classic. Look, they got chosen by David Cronenberg, one of the greatest living actors there is.
Director David Cronenberg, yeah, he's a.
I mean, he chose them. Like,
yeah,
I see. Look, you may not like the independent, horror genre, but within that genre, they seem like very accomplished and successful, story writers, not based on anything SJW or weird, just based on what they did.
I think that their values are probably in 180-degree opposition to the values of the people who are supporting Rippaverse. And I think that
evidence of this.
I think that people seeing those movies, I think people actually responding to, they don't know who the Soska sisters are. I think people seeing that stuff, I think they're reacting to it. Most of them are Christians, and they don't like that. They don't like flirting with Satanism, which is what we see here. They're the dark shit with Lucifer Valentine, Gabe. It's
supposed to be horror. That's the point. If it was all nice and good, it wouldn't be a horror film.
Gabe, you understand who Lucifer Valentine is? Do you know who he is?
I mean, you said...
you understand he was their idol, their director. They called him a god, and he was fucking his own sister, and she killed herself. And they...
It's art, not him as a person. Look, 3 days ago you said they were anti-Christian, lesbian pornographers, and I'm just wondering where's the evidence for any.
Oh, well, they were kissing each other, so that's lesbianism, and they made sex films.
They did.
And
they did a shock jock photo. Ooh. Please.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't kiss Mersh. Remember Mersh?
God.
That was if I kissed Mersh for a shock jock thing, you would say that's pretty gay. You'd say Ethan's gay, wouldn't you?
Well, you're a guy and they're girls and they're in a certain genre. It's a little different. They're in a performative genre.
How do you explain this? What is this here? Soska sister taking pics from the Luca Gore rape van of twin little boys on the street. So cute. That's legit twinning. What are they doing in the rape van, taking pictures of other people's kids? Are you concerned about this? Is this a concern of yours? You're here to justify these two to me?
I have no idea what the context of that tweet is, but I know that your buddy Vito has tweeted 20 different things that are way worse.
Vito's not my buddy. Vito's just somebody on the space. He's floating around here. I don't take responsibility for him. I don't know what he's about. I don't talk about him. I mean, he's just Vito. People use him to attack me. But I'm just saying, what is this? These are your friends.
You got criticisms of the Saska sisters based on not even having read their one thing in the comic world that seems pretty basic.
Oh, I don't know. You know what? I've only read 5 pages. They're great. The story's good. Good job. I'm not talking about that. Listen,
that seems this is comics. That seems what matters is the work they put out.
All right, typing queen, what'd you think?
I am kind of confused. Like,
Yes, I do mean move. Why what?
I'm kind of confused, to be honest. Like, that's crazy. Like, the guy was just denying the whole thing.
Well, the thing is, here, no, I don't. I think he may honestly see things that way, but I think what we have to take from this is there are people out there who say, "Well, it's part of the show. That's why they did that. It was just shock value." Blah blah blah. I think the world has to recognize. Look at Timmy raising his hand. The world has to recognize that we've had this problem where, like, we just let the worst people take over our entertainment and then wonder why it went to hell when the evidence was right there. Like, it does matter. This guy's like, well, have you read their comic book? That's the only thing that matters. Well, don't their movies matter? Don't the things they wrote? Don't the things, like their interviews matter? Their past does matter. Unless they're sitting there totally, denouncing the wickedness of the past. It does matter. It matters a lot. It's the difference between getting a story about a hero or the story about, kind of a hero. Like,
Now, what book did they write again?
They wrote The Black Widow, and that's the one that most people refer to when they talk about their previous comics.
Mm-hmm.
But they also had one that was like Maniac killing nuns or something like that. It was a
all right.
It was a grindhouse horror comic. What's up, Tim?
Let me ask you a question. Based on my stories, what would you say about me then?
I don't know, because you're not a weirdo.
Well,
like there's more to it. Like
I'm a self
no, it's not Tim
weirdo.
No, but you don't have like incestual kissing going on whilst
no, that would be weird.
You don't have like characters aren't sewing creatures into the orifices of other characters for shock value.
Yeah.
Do you know the scene I'm talking about?
I think it sounds like you're referring to Human Centipede, which is
no. In one of the Soska movies, they actually take a tarantula and force it into an orifice and then sew that orifice up.
Oh.
Yeah. So like the things that we're talking about, this is one of the things that bothered me, and I mentioned it in the video. The guy talks like this is Hollywood horror, like, ooh, the werewolf in London, or oh, it's like Lost Boys, or one of a dozen Hollywood films you might think of, Freddy Krueger, but that's not what these movies are. It's not even. Hellraiser is still on a higher class level than these movies.
Right.
That's like these movies are like, oh, there's a reason they're independent.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood would never go there. It's like, oh man.
How do you feel about William Shatner doing The Devil's Reign in 1970 something?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
They also had Ernest Borgnine and it had the
But
guy who
remember, okay,
founded
so
the Church of
this
Satan.
is one of the so Tim, that's actually interesting because that's one of the defenses that guy used. He brought up the director, like when we hear like, well, you know, so and so did this and this, all that means
Right.
to me is an actor did something really stupid that may indicate they're really crazy, which wouldn't surprise me because all these actors,
Right.
oh my God, like it's not uncommon to find out like, oh yeah, they were members of, you know, the Illuminati cult or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you always hear these whispers. So like if William Shatner turned out to be like you know, the biggest Satanist priest of all time, I'd be disappointed, but I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. I'd be like,
Yeah.
well, it's freaking Hollywood, damn it. You know what I mean? It's like,
No, see,
Well,
the Devil's Reign was not a Hollywood movie. It was a grindhouse B movie.
well, and that's one of the problems with those because sometimes that just means a cheap budget with a bad story.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
it's
that's
like
true.
evil. Sometimes it's like
So,
somebody being
well,
like,
and
go
sometimes
ahead.
it's an actor just. I was going to say sometimes it's an actor just trying to get a job, feeding
Yeah.
to feed their family or whatever. I know at
Yeah.
that time, yeah, there was knee deep. I think he was knee deep in debt because of having divorced.
I think he was sleep. Was he also sleeping in his car or something right after Star Trek?
Yeah, but the other thing that I was going to say, a few things towards it. One, haven't they supposed to have turned over a new leaf? You know, the Soska sisters. That's what I've heard. I don't know how true it is. So aren't we
Then why are
supposed to
you
give
talking about it, Rick? You come in here without receipts?
Yeah,
No,
man.
actually, I can talk to that because they posted this thing about God gives to all and God loves all, and it was very touching. It was nice, and I was like, because I actually said, you know what, I'm not even going to look at them at this point. They brought up God. Good enough. I hope they do well.
Yeah, well, you know, it's
This
between
was
them and
something that came
God.
up last night when
Yeah.
Ethan pressed this guy who defends her or defends them. And I'm not attacking them directly. What I'm saying is these arguments are not, they're not the arguments of people that are looking out for the best interests of anybody's spirit or soul. It's all about the wallet there, you know, just the past doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Well,
Yeah. Well, yeah,
that's,
it obviously does matter to a degree, but if
oh,
they're
Canada's
trying
messing with you again, Rick.
you know,
Stupid Canada.
to turn
Tell
over,
Trudeau to back
you
off.
know, I think
No,
of
I hear you.
I think of Paul. You know, like when he became a Christian, there was great opposition to him, right?
What
So-
the heck are you talking about? Where are you
Rick,
going with this, Rick?
Rick, poor Rick.
I'm
Rick,
not-
you're like a robot. We can barely hear everything that you could. And then Paul and blip blip blip, and then I'm like, I just lost what he was saying.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Well, I'm not saying. From what I've seen, because I actually saw the movie Dead Hooker in the Trunk. I didn't think it was a very good movie.
No, me either. And I didn't watch that whole movie. I did see unless that's not the Valentine one, right? That's not the first
I
one.
don't. No, I think that was their first one that they did themselves.
Right. No, I saw most of the Valentine one with a lot of lookaways because it was just like, whoa, what the heck? You know what I mean? But
Well, and American Mary, I've
it's
never
bad,
seen that.
man.
but I
I've never
heard
seen anything.
It's
Go
pretty
ahead.
gross. I've only seen
I've never
clips of
seen
American
anything quite
Mary,
like
but
it.
So
Yeah.
what are we talking about? I've come confused. I thought
I'm
we
trying
were-
to say something.
What I'm trying to tell. Oh, go ahead, Tim.
I was gonna say I've seen clips of American Mary, but I've never really seen the movie itself. So
Yeah, no, I
it
watched
looked
the trailer
gross.
too. Yeah. After seeing the trailer, I was like, I don't need to see that. That's
We're talking about
That's all right.
the Soska sisters.
but the
and
real
other thing-
point is, yeah, but
I
that's not even
know.
my point. My point is more about the way this guy was framing this because the
Defending
way
them.
it seems to be, the way that people are approaching it is number one, it's in their past. Why should it matter? Well, it shouldn't matter if they come out and profess against it and they're doing something, you know, positive and you see all this. The problem with the Soska sisters, and I'm telling you from my point of view, is there's only been one post that said anything about God, and I just said it's in his hands. They just called him out. So the Lord won't be mocked. That's the way I'm approaching it.
No.
But in
Yeah.
this conversation, this guy was like, the past doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what they've done in comics. And I'm thinking, no, that's not how this works. Everything they create says something about them. And if there has been a theme of satanic nastiness for the last, decade, if they've flipped the switch, that's great. But you guys know when the light comes on, it shines. It
Yeah.
usually doesn't hide in the back,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Well,
we're people.
Oh, sorry, Tim. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're just normal people, but it is written that when you ask for forgiveness, God forgives, and then I guess He forgets that He forgets, right?
He chooses to forget.
He chooses to forget.
Yeah. Um,
So if
the
they
thing,
come to God and they ask they sincerely ask for forgiveness and are trying to turn a new leaf, then perhaps people should give them a fair chance.
yeah. And frankly, this comes down to they've been hired by what's his name, Eric, right? So if he wants the baggage that comes with them, if he wants to believe that they've come to God because they've told him or whatever, then that's his choice. Really.
I think it was more along the lines Chris was like,
The
amazed
defender
what,
guy.
what it is,
what
you guys,
you're
you guys,
trying to
you guys are
offend.
the very reason why the whole industry fell apart. These kind of attitudes. Well, don't worry about it. Don't just give them a chance.
Oh,
Their
whoa,
testimony.
whoa!
Listen, no, you listen, man. Their testimony is their life. We've watched them. Like you can go back the last 10 years. There's been no moment where they like came out and said anything until one tweet. So when people question them, it's not about giving them a chance. It's about they haven't changed, dude. As far as anybody can see, they're the same people they've always been. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like I know what you're saying, but
Yeah.
they come out.
And I don't know much about them. I just go off the little bit that I know.
I unfortunately know too much. And the funny thing is, this hasn't been an issue for me for 2 weeks because I stopped watching all that. Well, maybe a week. But I caught a clip of Ethan today, that one that I just shared. And I was like, you know what? This is still brewing there. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I hope Yaira sells millions, and I hope it's a great book. But man, I'm telling you, it's why the industry is screwed up because we let people sink into these books, and then they're boom, they're doing something crazy to a whole company.
This might be kind of different though because it's Eric's company, and it's not like a Marvel and DC are like a corporation. They have many branches, and they're ran by more than one person. So it's kind of hard for people to maintain control of an entire corporation when there's multiple facets.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, and let's hope that Eric is actually a good herald of anything because I don't know. From what I see, he makes some crazy moves. Now, that being said, he's made millions. Can't argue with his business side. But it's it's going to be a fun watch. Like I said, I do hope they do well. I hope that they are turned over to Christ and that it's just a matter of they don't know how to communicate or something. But when someone else is sitting there looking at it and they say, it only matters what they put into a comic book when they've been making these like weirdo movies for, since what, 2003 or something. I don't know when it started, 10 years ago or, it wasn't 20 years ago, but it's over a decade.
I think they're also were heavily in the body modification as well, I think.
Well, they were supportive of all the trans kid stuff, which is, that is what it is. I don't usually get into that because people are so emotional about it, but it's like there were a lot of conservatives questioning that, Aaron. It really wasn't an issue for anybody until Eric started talking about it. And he didn't say all that much, but he said enough. Hello, Outcast Comics. Welcome to the chat.
Yes.
And it just stirred all this stuff up because realistically, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't know anything about the Soska sisters before they got involved with the Rippaverse.
I heard of them.
Yeah, I just literally didn't know anything. I knew they were called something like the Twisted Twins or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't know that much more detail than what I already told you.
Good
But-
evening, Mr. Yanafui. Ah, sorry, I'm drinking down a Pepsi while I talk. But
You
yeah,
heard it here first.
I got all autistic over that clip because to me it's just like, I mean, I don't mean to be harsh, but that's
Yeah,
what
you
killed the
did.
industry. It like Fourth Age was talking about it, how like editors were actually going into companies, hiding their true intentions, and then once they got in, changing the way things ran so it would reflect what they wanted to reflect politically.
Mm.
And to me, it's just, gosh, you can't look a wolf in the eye and go pet it just because it's wearing like sheep's clothing. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to look in the eye and go, what's going on?
Again, there's only one guy actually running the whole company. Everyone else is hired guns, so it would be kind of hard to do what they did with Marvel.
Well,
and DC.
yeah. Well, it's one guy, but I'm sure he has some quote unquote advisors or whatever, people that he listens to, or you would hope, anyways.
Well, in a way, you hope one guy is better than a team of people, like they can control it more. But that's only one person you have to trick then. Like
Yeah.
that's my fear. I'm like, okay, you got a very
Yeah,
small defense there, one man's mind,
It's a good thing, but a bad thing. Now, me, I
It could
probably
work
wouldn't
either
have.
way.
I probably wouldn't have hired them myself based on the little bit you guys are telling me about them. But then again,
Well-
unfortunately, no offense to my good friend Dillard, but should I really have him on my books with some of the stuff that he's putting out?
Well, that's a question everybody who hires has to ask themselves. Like if you thought Dillard was going to bite you down the road in some negative way, maybe, but I think Dillard's just going to get better, and his stuff.
Well, his art is great. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But, if you look at the one book that he's put out on thing from my comics, which hasn't released yet, he's still drawing it. I forget what it is, but that first one that he did, the short.
Is that the Canadian Tussle or something like that?
Yeah, the Canadian Tussle.
Yeah.
That, although it's not horror, that is probably if it's not soft corn, it's very close to it.
He advertised it as a mature book, though.
Yeah, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. But the question is, should I be having an artist like that doing my
Right.
stuff?
Well, ultimately, this is the question you
Why
got to ask.
Ultimately, it's up for me to decide, obviously.
Well, it could hurt Rick in particular, because if Rick, okay, and this is just hypothetical, it probably won't hurt you. But let's say you're out there selling your book and you're like, I'll just pick something very stereotypical. You're in Alabama and you go to the official Southern Baptist church with your book. And they said, brother, that looks so good. Canadian Shield is a Christian. Who did your covers? And you go, well, that's Dillard. And they go, do you mean Dillard of Canadian Tussle? We had several children buy that book. And why, young man, you cannot come in this church. Like,
burn him.
Right. It will probably never happen, but that's the risk you're taking, because that's who would be offended. A Christian who's like, don't bring that in.
That's sort of what I'm talking about,
Right. That would be, I think that would be my only fear. But honestly, how many Christians are up on Comicsgate, or Iron Age, or, I hear Iron Age and I still think about Tony Stark and his like multitude of suits.
Yeah.
So I have something I want to say, because you guys have all been chit-chatting and I've been listening. So we're really talking about the ethics and morals of other people who work on our books, whether they're doing the covers, whether they're doing the artwork, whether they're helping with the story. And I think that in many instances, you probably want to know what kind of background that person has. So in the instance of the Soska sisters, is coming back to, it's out there loud and clear that their history and the way they led their lives for many people would not align with their lifestyle. Just putting it like that.
Well, here's the thing that blows my mind, and I have to constantly keep this in check too.
Mhm.
What if the church was horrible to them and they love Jesus, but they're like,
Well, that's what I'm
anti-religion?
saying. Like, we don't know
Right.
these people's hearts for the love of God. We don't know them. We can
Right.
only look at their action, and I know Scripture does talk about that. But
Yep.
there are so many other people in the world that are doing things way more horrific than these young ladies have done, and they don't. I'm not defending them. I think what I've heard about their movies, it's like, I don't know how you can do. I just can't wrap my mind around it. But it comes back to, like, so let's say Chris and I do really well over this year, and we're able to hire out different artists, and we find out an artist has been in jail for whatever, but he's a great artist, and he's out of jail. He's paid his time. Like, I have to look, like, number one, I don't think I would ask an artist, like, so I need to know I need to know more about you before I hire you. I probably wouldn't even ask that. It's
Not
more like,
me. Not me. I would ask.
you
You want
would?
to know the truth? Yes. You want to know the truth?
Uh-huh.
I have hired an artist being fully aware of their past and how dark it was, including alcohol and drugs,
Mm-hmm.
and hired him despite his past because of his future. And by that, I mean,
Gotcha. Yeah.
I knew where he was, and I knew that that was his past. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm
Mhm.
missing with the Soskas, which is none of my business on a one-on-one level. But on a business level, if they came out and if they've sincerely, let's play the devil's advocate to just say a pun, but if they're established in the walk of Christ, if they come out and say that, that changes a lot of how everybody will perceive the past, because then it's gone.
Right.
But when they kind of play with it, it's like the Christians especially are going to go, well, what evidence do I have of this change? We know Christians are the hardest ones. If you tell a
Mm-hmm.
Christian you turn to God and you're still
Mm-hmm.
sitting there drinking beer, cussing, and sleeping around at the bar on Saturday night, they're going to know you have not changed. You know what I mean?
But actually, therein lies a question. Evie has said that a lot of his customers are Christian. Are they?
I think so, but here's the problem.
Um,
Christianity has become so like salt and peppered with sugar and all sorts of additives and glue, and there's artificial stuff in it now, and they just, if you get what I'm saying, like, there's so many
Yeah.
denominations, like, you really got to put your faith in the name of Jesus. Like, you really got to count on the Son of God really coming through with grace, because a lot of this stuff just does not line up properly with how it should be. But if you
Yeah.
say it, you're judgmental. And what if they're on a walk and they're going to get there? Like, you have to, it's such a balancing act. I think that's why he told us not to worry about tomorrow. But I'm human.
Yeah.
I will always worry about tomorrow. I'm too human.
Yeah. You worry about a lot.
Yeah, it's because, I have a lot on my shoulders. I'm holding the whole weight of
I'm
the
gonna
world side.
I'm gonna quote my mom, who
Yeah.
when I was tattling, what she used to tell me:
What?
worry about yourself. Quit worrying about other people.
Yeah, that only goes so far, though, man. Because
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
responsible for a lot, Hang on, I'm going to add
Yeah.
somebody named Eric Grinder,
Oh,
and when I do that, it's going to make me do this.
yep.
See how smart I was?
Yep. I didn't
hope
have to
we
do
got it
that.
all. Yeah, no, well, it was in the back room, so.
I didn't understand a word he said anyway.
No, it wasn't good. He was making he was trying to make a sexual joke.
He was playing with the pee-pee.
Oh,
Well,
gross.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
full
was,
on.
yeah.
I'm like, great, love that. Yeah, mm-hmm. Makes my
Yep.
night. My eyes have to go watch them now. They're burning. Anyway, so I think that I of course I understand where Chris is coming from. I of course I do, but I also look at it. It's a worldly business that we're in, and by saying that, it's going to be a very small network of people, if not we, or I'm not pointing fingers to anybody, if well, I can't use that person in my business because they had this and they haven't repented, or this person, I don't know.
don't you think it's a bigger issue of actually knowing who's working with you? Like, I know that a lot of people learned some hard lessons recently, and here we have the sisters, and that's fine. But
Mhm.
and it is Eric's business. Who cares? I don't, I only hope the best for him. But if he crashes and burns because they say or do something bad against, his
I
whatever,
think for me,
that is his business. But
well, I think
Well,
for me, if it's a one-off, if it's just a one-off, I'm like, hey, we need somebody to help Chris do some pencils because he's overwhelmed. And we just got an artist. We've hired somebody. It's an online thing. We don't know their way of life, but he's really good. He's reasonable. He's good to work with. He's and it's a one-off. Like, okay, we're just going to hire you for this one thing. It's not somebody we're bringing into the business. Now that would be different. I would want to know that person,
do you understand people who did use VK as a one-off are replacing the art and overdoing it?
Mm-hmm.
Because some things you just don't want there anymore.
Hey,
Hey,
Lorenzo.
Lorenzo.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
Rick, you were going to say something.
Well, I'm just saying, I get where he's coming from, but there was a time when we never knew any of this stuff. Like, I was watching a video that I found out recently. Their DC is re-releasing all the amalgam comics that they and Marvel did, but they're not having two of them in this omnibus because, again, at the time it wasn't known, but now, or sometime between then and now, the two comics that this one guy worked on, but he ended up in jail for something similar to Vic, from what I heard in the thing. So they're not including you can't have the complete collection in this omnibus or whatever now, and fans are disappointed because of that. And he did the whole comic, 2 whole comics.
Well, that's up to the publisher, like
yeah.
They've got to decide, are they going to continue publishing it, or do they publish it with a disclaimer, or do they replace it? It's
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it has to be a case by case.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Speaking of which, apparently I hear from certain sources that a certain person has kind of resurfaced again.
I saw you text that. Was that because he put that?
Oh, Outcast says he thinks it was 2 guys. Okay, maybe it was 2 different guys. I don't know.
Oh.
Now, see, we can add this one to the room. I know this guy. Hello, Lorenzo.
So,
hey.
You were saying? You were saying something. You stopped.
Me? I don't know. I got distracted by Lorenzo's green skin.
Yeah.
Lizards have that effect on people.
It's extra shiny today, I guess.
Did anyone even know his real name? I mean, I heard he just used PayPal when.
I never knew.
Robert Kincaid.
Yeah, but now they know. But the people at the time when they dealt with him, did anyone even know that was his name, or did they just know him by his pen name?
I just know him by his pen name.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking is that no, because I don't know of anybody who actually, as far as I know, nobody knew his real name, and somebody did, they didn't do any background check or whatever, reverse image search, which is actually a really good idea. But the thing is, I don't think very many people in the comic sphere are doing background checks, which probably explains why people are always getting into these arguments over, well, like this artist starts doing a project or writer or whatever, and then they skip out on it. And
it's like people who form bands and stuff. Are they going to do background checks on the bass player and the lead guitarist and the drummer? No, they don't do that.
No, it usually doesn't come until like real big business starts to knock. And then big business wants background checks, and they're going, "Yo, that bass player."
Yeah,
you're gonna have to drop him.
Background checks. Usually, businesses only do it when they need it for whatever reason, like say you're going to be starting to work with kids, then usually, they
Well,
want you
that's
to do a
always
background
like
check.
if you work in
Or
if you work in any school district, you have to go through like 2 or 3 different checks depending on the state.
yeah,
Um,
uh, or if you're going to work security, then they get you to do a background check that way. There's
same
lots of
thing in,
jobs
in
that,
hospitals. Basically, anytime you're legally responsible for anybody public, I think they make you get those.
They
The only
do.
problem with those is when people fall through the cracks. Like
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't want to let that give you a false sense of security.
right.
Because you got still have to be still people have to be on alert, especially like if it's somebody who's like around
yeah,
the youngins or whatever, and
yeah.
you
But
you,
the thing
you know you don't want to think, well, this person's totally 100% trustworthy because they haven't been convicted of something, or always could be some sort of
Remember, Jason
Yeah.
wasn't Jason until Jason was Jason.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And a lot of times, like if you're getting somebody to work at a convenience store or a retail store or something like that, a lot of times they don't require background checks. There's lots of jobs that don't require background checks.
I've heard of
Right.
people that had to pee in a cup or what? Well, no, wait a second. I don't mean like a coffee cup, or
Yeah.
I mean like they had to take a urine test just to work at the socks store in the outlet mall, which I think is really like invasive. And
Shoot, Blockbuster used to take a strand of your hair and use that for a drug test because it showed a much longer streak of how long you've been off any drugs or anything. And they were real strict. Blockbuster Video, they used to have like a real, at least around Orlando.
it's
had a
kind of
really
funny that
strict
they
code.
do that with like the people at the video store, but like go to I don't think all hospital employees have to be like in my town. I don't think. And we got a really good hospital too, and I don't think everybody working there has to take drug tests.
Yeah, they
Yeah, I
probably
don't know.
do.
Maybe they do
Most,
now, but they didn't. I don't think they did back.
yeah,
Like
they
I got a lot of
probably.
like a lot of friends and family who've worked
Yeah.
at the hospital because we got our hospital owns a gazillion different locations. They because they're like a nonprofit, and in order to remain a nonprofit, I think it helps if they take the money that they make and then they invest it in, like they buy up some clinic or whatever. And
Yeah. It might
so
stuff like that
it's
might
one of the
depend on
biggest
your
employers in
state.
town.
Again, we're indie creators. We're not on a corporate level, so I mean,
Well, I'm not
I
thinking
guess that
people
it's
should.
an option.
Yeah, I'm not
It
thinking
should be
people should
optional.
like take. I don't. I want my comic book creators to be on drugs.
Yeah.
I just
So, guys,
joking. But no, I don't mind if they
step in here. Hang on.
something,
I
smoke
have to step
herb
in
or
here.
whatever.
I have to step in here and remind you one of the benefits of the Great Cyclopean is I'm the only one making it. There's no surprises with us. I know who's inking, coloring, and lettering, so I never have to worry about that.
You didn't do a background check on yourself?
I
How do
know
you know?
my
How do
background,
you know
brother.
you know you?
Yeah. Wake up tomorrow morning.
No, but
like
did
that
you do a
professor
background
of
check?
Schwarzenegger movie.
Did you do a background check on your editor?
Yeah, well, I've been with her for 15 years and I know everything there is to know
Actually,
about her.
excuse me, sir,
I know
19.
19, I know.
How do you know Diana's Diana? Maybe she would know the name Vivica.
Maybe she was replaced with an alien. Like that happened in
Oh
one of
my
the
gosh,
characters
you
on the show
guys.
Soap.
You're
Spoiler alert.
terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Diana, what color are my eyes? Oh, it's not her. It's not her.
Oh, you guys are so silly.
Yeah, we're not teasing you. We're teasing him, Diana. We just happen to be using
Bottom
you
line,
as a
bottom line, since this is an indie, comic sphere, and we're all indie, and none of us are corporations, it should be optional, and people should.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, the
until
thing is,
you actually
can
are
ask
like a
for
huge corporation.
you can ask for it. There's nothing stopping any of us from doing that if we want. The thing is, it's just going to limit who you can get because a lot of people won't go through it.
Right.
lot
They're
of
gonna
a lot
say,
of
"What are
people-
you crazy? Like seriously, what are you
I-
crazy?"
I don't want some weirdo going through
Well-
my background.
Well,
I know.
I'm going to be very selective. I have been more and more selective about whose projects I back
Right.
because I've spent thousands of dollars now,
Hmm.
and I have such a difficult time reading. I I'm quite intimidated trying to. I feel intimidated trying to read these comics.
Yeah.
Not every comic anybody makes. Not saying it's your comics, but I'm just saying some comics. A lot of indie comics,
Too wordy.
it's just I'm dyslexic to begin with, and it's hard for
It's
me to read
hard. Yeah.
nonfiction. And
Yeah.
even with the pictures, it still can be hard for me to read just because it's worded a little differently than.
Okay.
Uh,
Is it something
And
maybe like disability wise or?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
dyslexic
Hey.
and on the autism spectrum. And now some people are dyslexic and on the autism spectrum are really good at reading comics.
Right. Right.
And that should be easier for me to read, but it can be really difficult.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for me to read a comic to begin with.
Mhm.
So is it a struggle with
Unless it's not like an autobiographical or
right?
kind of based on a true story.
So
Those are
remember,
easier for me to read.
is it
Like
Uh,
our Crumb had one about Kafka. That I think
So,
the Charlie's London would be easy for me to read.
would it
So
be
if
a,
I'm spending thousands of dollars on something that I might not be able to read,
would it
I definitely want to make sure I know who I'm backing and that they're actually going to
right?
deliver.
so I have a question. I have a quick question about that. We are putting, we are reading through the Great Cyclopean issues 1 through 6. We're slow but steady. Would that not, because would that help? Like if you were to get an audio version of the comic that you
Oh
thought?
yeah, that'd be great.
And I think Tim had a question too. Tim, was that you trying to say something?
Yes. My question was about is there trouble with reading comprehension?
Oh, definitely. Now I didn't have that problem when I read and I only read a few issues of the Immortal Hulk. The only problem I had is the issues I read, like at the end of the story, the Hulk would just give some long speech, and then Hulk would smash the person, and it's
Right.
like, and it was like so at the end,
Smash.
it was kind of like I'd watch Matlock, and every episode would be the same. Like at the end of the show, it'd be like, not only is my client not guilty, but here's the murderer right here, just coincidentally in the courtroom.
Then Hulk smash.
And Madlock would point towards the person, or Scooby Doo, I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for pesky kids. So I've kind of felt like that with the Immortal Hulk. I heard some people say it got really good, but I could comprehend the book, but it was just, I kind of got bored of it.
I don't know,
And
by
pull
that
out
time,
sketchbook.
I think I was well out of Marvel by the time they were doing that. Because
Yeah,
the only
I
Immortal Hulk
checked it
I
out
remember was the
because.
cartoon.
Oh, what? I'm sorry.
The only Immortal Hulk I remember was the cartoon.
Oh,
I think it used to be on Netflix, but then it was on Disney, or it might have been Disney the whole time. But I
I
remember
didn't even
seeing
realize
that.
they made a cartoon called
I
The
don't
Immortal
think
Hulk.
they made the Immortal Hulk a cartoon.
It was the
Because
one where isn't that the one where he's World War Hulk or whatever?
No. The Immortal Hulk is a different guy being the Hulk. Some kid.
Wait. What I'm talking about is
Amadeus Chow. Or
is
something like that.
Banner dies, and but then the Hulk part of him kind of ends up resurrecting his body.
Huh.
But then the Hulk's actually smarter than Banner. I don't
Oh,
know
wait.
if it's to say Bruce or David Banner, because on TV I think they call him David Banner, but
Well, in the comics, it's Bruce.
yeah, it's Bruce. Yeah, it had a really neat.
Yeah.
I think
The
it was
other-
maybe kind of a southwestern horror, and kind of a horror feel to it. It was really well drawn, And I like
So
the dialogue
I was
until it
totally
got to the end of
confused,
the
guy.
book, and then it just it's like there's no morality as far as I'm concerned. Like if this guy's got enough time that he could just go and lecture the person, why doesn't he just tie the person up and then call the police and disappear? You know, if he's got all that time, he could just do that.
I don't know, but Chris, what are you confused about?
It's Planet Hulk. I had the whole thing messed up.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Planet Hulk
heard of
is
that,
just
yeah.
before World War Hulk. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. That wasn't actually in the comics too.
But that's not anywhere near Immortal Hulk. I was lost. It's because I'm not a Marvel guy anymore. Not really, you know.
There's so many different types of Hulks.
Yeah. Well, I never.
No. There's only 2 Hulks. In my Marvel world, there's only 2. There's the He-Hulk and the She-Hulk.
Well,
What about
who's
Grey
Joe
Hulk?
Fixit? Is Joe Fixit?
Grey Hulk is part of the real Hulk. So
No. You guys don't understand. I didn't extend to any
Oh my
other Hulk.
gosh, I can't
There
even tell you.
was the regular Hulk and there was the She-Hulk. And then after I left, I think there might have been a hint of the Red Hulk. But after I stopped reading, that's when everybody started being like, I'm a Hulk, you're a Hulk, wouldn't you like to be a Hulk or to be a
Did they ever
Hulk?
bring the Grey Hulk back? Does anybody know?
No, they never brought Joe Fixit back. But Joe Fixit, the Grey Hulk, is Bruce Banner, and he was that during.
Wait, so the Grey Hulk was called Joe Fixit?
Yeah, he was a gangster type thing, and he was that for a while. Banner turned into him and stayed him for like a few years or whatever.
Well, in the very first Hulk issues, he's gray, right? And then they turn him green.
Actually, the first issue. I don't think in the second issue.
Oh, okay, but he wasn't Joe Fixit then, right?
No.
It was later on he became yeah. Because people
They
told
literally-
me about Joe Fixit, and I thought he was gray, but I didn't really know.
Yeah, and that was in like
Timeline.
I think that was in the 70s.
guys.
They did that.
Guys,
Hey,
you're
guys.
boring me to death. Wait,
Guys,
wait.
hold up.
He's green because the gray was messing up the press. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think I've heard
That's why
that.
it was one issue. It was having issues running it off the sheets because it was taking up too much sticky ink. You know, so they had to change it to green.
I didn't know that the inks could cause problems if they were with certain colors.
It was something about it was the coverage back then. They were having an issue with it sticking to the plate, sticking to the paper improperly or something. So I
kind of think he looks better green. I mean, but then again, I'm kind of partial to green.
Yeah, me too. Well, I mean, the whole green thing
it
seemed to
gives
work
me some
better,
sort of representation.
But the great
Gee,
thing
I
was
wonder
a great
why.
thing to go back to, like classic Coke, you know.
I like the Green Hulk. That's the only Hulk I know. So that's my vote. How did we get on that?
Yeah, I know about. I knew all I knew growing up was that there was a Green Hulk because that's what was in the cartoons and the
ding ding
1970s
ding
TV
ding.
show.
Yeah,
Yes.
the 70s.
Just like
Luke
when
Rigno.
it comes to the Wolverine suit, I prefer the brown and yellow, not the blue and yellow.
I don't know.
I prefer the blue and yellow.
Brown and orange.
Well, whatever.
What do you mean brown and yellow?
Is it
Oh, wait a
brown
minute.
and yellow?
I know what you mean.
Because that's the first Wolverine comics I had was when he had that suit.
Gotcha. No, why are we even talking tonight? I'm like, I should be asleep by now, right?
Yeah, you should.
And Diana was wondering. I think
10:24 for
Diana, you were kind of wondering how we got on the Hulk topic, right?
Yeah.
I think it is because Chris said that he was a Marvel fan. Or I know what it was, and I had said that the Immortal Hulk was one comic that I could actually read and comprehend, even though it was fiction, one fictional comic.
Well, that's right. You said,
Yeah, it was I mean, there were some others, but that one really caught my attention. And I heard that if I had kept reading it, that the plot did improve. But some people, I guess it depends on one's opinion.
Right.
So I guess the whole point of the start of the whole show is just that I think when we look at this, we have to be cautious because a lot of things fly by night because we justify it. Like,
Yeah.
the guy more than once he was like, "Well, it's indie core, it's indie horror. What do you expect?" And there are still things that are very unique to the
Mhm.
Twisted Twins, to the Sosker sisters,
Oh
because
gosh.
we don't usually have creators that are twins that are out there doing crazy things, but so they have a lot of unique situations that they're dealing with. I'm just like,
I call it unique. Some of the stuff I heard about.
I've seen it, Lorenzo, and none of
Oh
it's like
no.
it's all debauchery. It's like, oh my god. But
I
like, if
mean,
in
in
the,
a
in the world of
way,
forgiveness, if they've repented, amen. That's between them and God. But the thing is, the way that Eric July painted it, and then like the lack of example, has made a lot of people very hesitant to trust them as far as what they're doing. I don't care. I'm not going to buy Yara, so it's never going to affect me. Um, I hope their customers get what they pay for. I hope that they get a great book.
Are they the ones who wrote the Yara?
Yeah, Soska Twins wrote Yara, likely based on Eric July's love of their run on Black Widow, which I did not hate. I keep saying that about books that Eric July is tied to, but it's true. I read the Black Widow miniseries. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. It was like, all right, it's
It's a
kind of
blind.
snarky.
Oh,
It was kind of snarky, but it was entertaining to an extent. It wasn't the worst book
oh.
I've ever read.
So, did you? Was that the one where? Did you guys see the art to that? Where like, uh, it looks like there somebody needs to go. Like they need to. Isn't there an art editor? Because at that didn't Eric hire an art editor?
Yeah,
Because
he hired Kanan White because of an inconsistency or something in his books. I don't
okay,
know what's actually happening with that, but supposedly that's a thing.
because Yaira, there's this image. I think it's from Yaira where the person's head is all the way. Now, can humans really turn their head the way back, all the way backwards like that? I thought that only happened in The Exorcist.
I actually read somewhere a human can turn their head something like 306 degrees before snapping it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I
Thank
wouldn't
you.
try that. It probably really mess up
See,
one's head.
I don't even know. I do not know. I don't want to know why you know that information. By the way, Just
I
saying.
actually believe somebody Googled it, screen capped it, and put it in one of the posts about that very head that Lorenzo's talking about. In the artwork, it does look like the girl's head is
It's
ripped
like
right around her head, and like she's looking like a Barbie doll. You just turn the head so it's
yeah,
looking behind her.
it's like no some of the art like I mean it overall looked better than some of the art I've seen in indie comics.
Well, you
But
know what's funny?
it just it seemed to have a few mistakes here and there. Like somebody needs
Well, as
to
an artist who's still
catch it.
perfecting, I have a hard time criticizing.
Yeah.
What's really amazing though is when Ethan goes through their books, I always learn stuff off of it. And when I was looking at the sample pages, oh, there are some problems. But on the other hand, I don't want to sit there and call this woman out who drew them because that's not my place. I'm not going to be a customer. I'm not buying the book. Nobody's asking me if they should buy the book. And if they do, what am I going to tell them? All I can tell them is I'm not buying it. It's, if you want to, that's, don't let don't let my choice influence yours. If you like the Yaira stuff, go for it.
It sounds like the Saska sisters, despite all the
Controversy?
yeah, it sounds like they were competent Marvel writers. I mean, like maybe not like would you consider the greatest comic writers of all time, but sound like they put out a decent comic series.
Well, no, I don't know. They did like a 5-issue run, I think it was,
Oh,
and
okay.
they
But
haven't been on that much else. But who knows? Like, I don't even see people look at Marvel like as an achievement, a landmark, and I'm like, God, that's not the thing it used to be. It's kind of like the NFL. It used to be running 1,000 yards in a season was a big deal, but when it was a big deal, they were playing 12 games. Now they're playing 17 games, and I'm like, yeah, 1,000 yards is pretty good, but okay, you got twice as many games to do it in. Well, 5 more games, but you know what I mean. And it's just crazy. I'm like, I don't know. Like they sold something like the numbers weren't great, but in these days they were passable. Like I don't know. It's between it's none of my business really. It's only been an issue because it's internet drama. I just know I would not have gotten involved with them in business unless I knew a lot more, and maybe Eric does. But
it seems
it's
like
so
people
quiet.
are backing Eric. One of the reasons people are backing Eric or support, or supporting him or Ethan or whatever has to do with they want some. No, I don't want to. Okay, want to be careful with this. Some of them genuinely, and a lot of them genuinely like the material that either Ethan or Eric's putting out. But it seems like also part of it's I want to ally with a particular hashtag.
Oh yeah, it's
whatever.
definitely tribal right now. Like there's
Yeah,
two or three sides, and they're like, "Well, we're here and you're not." Oh God.
yeah, all over like what comic somebody chooses to read. Like I criticize Eric and Ethan and stuff, but I don't want all their fans to think that of either Eric or Ethan to
Not
think
you.
that I hate them or I think that they're dumb or anything like that just because they like something that doesn't look appealing to me. It's everybody's got their own personal taste, and
You know what the problem with the fans are, bro? It's that, and this is true on both of these particular sides, is their extreme fans seem to be some of the dumbest sticks in the mud, and they all make the dumbest posts, and I'm like, I don't even want to comment on that. So a lot of them I have muted now just because I don't want to argue with them, and it's so circular and so ridiculous, and I'm like, why are you fighting over this thing? Like they'll say something about EBS that everybody's known for a decade, or whatever. And I'm
yeah.
like, oh God, this is so. It's like hamburger that's been in the trash for a week that you pull out and try to cook. Oh man, come on. I don't want to
There are a
hear it.
couple of people. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
There are a couple of people that happen to be Russian. Don't want to, I'm not bashing on Russians, but they just happen to be, and then they were supposedly friends. But then one day they got in a fight over AMD versus NVIDIA graphics cards, which one was better. And one of them unalived the other person. I don't want to say anything to get your channel in trouble. And it's
No,
like
there's not much
they're
we
like,
do
why
here
would
to be worried about.
somebody escalate it to the point where the other person no longer exists just because one person prefers another graphics card over another?
Right.
I mean, that's an extreme example. I'm sure.
Well, no,
Maybe the person
you're hitting
is
on that.
mentally ill or what? I mean, extreme, criminally insane or
Well,
something.
you're
I don't
just hitting
know.
on that. You're hitting on that possibility of every human has it, I guess, but there's a trigger that goes off, and unfortunately, it could be pressure related. And someone comes along and says, "I ordered my popcorn with butter, and there's not butter on this," and the guy behind the counter goes, "Oh yeah, f you."
It's like road rage. People
Yeah,
just kind of
exactly.
and I think people get so stressed out with how hectic things are, and just
So they're overreacting to something like, I totally wonder, hey, one of these days I could step out in front of a car and they could get mad just because they, have had a crappy day, and that could be it. You got to, keep your
oh
eyes open.
yes, somebody did that where I got confused crossing the road, again, I don't want to use this as an excuse, but I'm on the spectrum, and so when I have to be in my particular case, I have a really hard to get really confused with traffic sometimes. I didn't
Right.
know if I was supposed to stop or what, who if they were going to give me the right of way or not, because there's pedestrian right of way in Michigan. But I didn't want to just step out in front of a car, and then this guy intentionally swerved to go in my direction to scare me, like he was going to run me over.
I hate when people get ignorant like that. It's like, ah, man, come on.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to. I wasn't. What I was doing was probably confusing the driver, and that's not good. And I feel bad about that, but that doesn't justify the other thing.
Run you over. Well, that's not good.
Yeah.
Just people get kind of, but who knows? Maybe something happened. Maybe he got in an argument with his wife. That doesn't justify it. It's just, I think a lot of people are just on edge. This was a long time ago, and it seems like things have gotten worse. A lot of people living paycheck to paycheck. Doesn't justify it, but it also seems like the news like trying to get people stressed out and have a fight or flight reaction. A lot of people seem to have this fight or flight reaction these days, which.
Well, when you think about everything that we've been through over the last half a decade, and number one, just the emotional stress and stuff, but then also, what effects have we gone through medically by being exposed to, the illness or the cure, as you want to put it. I don't want to say certain buzzwords.
Yeah, I understand.
Everything that we've been doing to ourselves, we could be walking like emotional nutcases by all of it. Like, it's kind of funny that we expect rational people after all of it. It's going to take a good 10 years of normal life to just normalize things again, because there's still people that are upset if you're not wearing a mask in public. There are still people upset if you're not, doing things the way that they do it. And it's unfortunate,
Yeah. Or if somebody is, I heard that I've heard of cases where people were physically attacked just for wearing a mask.
I'm certain. Yeah. Because I've heard of that too. No, that's still happening, because there's always somebody, who's willing to go, what's the matter with you? Take that thing off. It's stupid. Don't you know? It's just, and it's like, no, leave the guy alone, but they don't, because, they're impressing somebody,
It's like, I would have thought that would have ended like in elementary school or something. A lot of stuff going on with, like, say, middle-aged men, like behaving like they're still in school, or women or whatever, but like
you can go to college for dozens of years and just be a professional student. Hey,
I know someone who's like that.
Yeah, I'm getting another master's, bro. What you up to today?
Yeah, there's some. Yeah, and there's lots of people who are like, I think just shy of like 3 different degrees, but they don't quite finish that. They go and off to study something else. At least, well, I don't know if there's a lot of people like that, but I've heard
there's enough.
Knew a guy who was like that.
There are so many people that I consider to be professional students, and that doesn't mean they don't work, but it means like they're always going to school. There's always another course. There's always
but they like that. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's what they like to do.
What I do is I just watch the university lectures on YouTube or whatever platform. There's this open culture website, and then there's also open courseware and stuff. And a lot of this stuff you can get the recordings for free. You might need to buy the textbooks or whatever, but
I watch.
I'm not giving any credits for.
And I watch.
I just know
and Game Sack, and I draw. I don't watch any. Well, I don't watch. I watch as little drama as I can now, even in politics, but especially in comic books.
I just know one thing. You can go to college, you can go to school, but unless you have Jesus, you're just an educated fool.
Yeah.
I'm not a fool and I'm educated. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but you have Jesus.
Unless you got Jesus.
Well, I do. He's got
Wait,
me.
are you talking about Jesus, the guy who waters my plants?
No, we're
Yes.
talking about
Yeah,
Jesus.
comes by and trims the
No, man, we're
bushes.
talking about the Son of God. Sorry.
Well, his name's Jesus. They're
Yeah,
both named Jesus.
well,
It is a name. Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting. That in English, it's like people act like, oh, that name Jesus. That's only one person, could ever, or maybe like the Jesus Barabbas guy, which is interesting because that's son of the Bar Abba means son of the Father, right?
I got to shake it up, don't I?
So who is that? Yeah, Yeshua
Oh, that's the
Bar
wrong
Abba.
one. Oh no.
Vitron.
yay, Voltron, yay.
I was gonna show Voltron Jesus, but that's the wrong one.
That was lion. That was that the Lion Voltron? I can.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I took
Yeah,
the
not
The only Voltron.
the neighbor kid had both the Lion Voltron as far figures as well as the car one. I think they were from two different Japanese anime that were combined.
Yeah, they were.
Yes, dear.
I'm getting ready to head out for a little while.
Well, it's
Yeah,
almost
it's
time.
almost 11 o'clock for you guys.
Yeah.
So in the Bible, the guy there's there's Yeshua, but then isn't there also Yeshua Bar Abba, the thief?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah, the guy that was chosen over Jesus for.
Yeah, but that means son Barabbas, son of the father, or they call it Barabbas in Greek or
Yeah, but
whatever.
Barabbas,
English
I don't
Bibles.
think his name, I don't think he had Jesus in his name at all. I could be wrong.
But like, I mean, if Barabbas it means like Barabba, that's son of the father, and so that's kind of weird.
What is weird that the
Barabbas
name
was a
Barabbas
known.
means
There's Jesus who is the son of the father, and or Yeshua.
right,
And then there's this other one who is called the son of the father, but
right,
he's like but that one really is a criminal.
right. So you're looking at the actual name Barabbas.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah, the
wondering about
breakdown of
that.
it. So
That's
like bar
interesting.
means I'm looking it up because I'm like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
in like the King James Bible or whatever, I think it'd
Yeah.
be like Barabbas, or
Why
in
is
most
Barabbas
translations, but
called
that's
Jesus?
just because it's
So Jesus was a common first name, according to what I'm
yeah,
reading.
yeah,
like Jesus,
yeah.
Right.
or
Or
And
like
it's based
John.
on the name Joshua, I believe.
yeah,
I was just going to say that, but Jesus is a translation of Joshua, which is Yeshua. So I
it's
believe that's kind of the way it goes. But
it's just taking the name and putting it through like Greek, then Latin, and then
Yeah, but
then,
Barabbas,
then
meaning
like
son of the father, is just one
English for some
father.
reason the ya sound turns into a ja for what I don't understand. It's funny when names are taken into different languages.
so I'm going to get ready to go to bed. Yeah, you're right. It does. But I'm getting ready to go to bed because I'm tired. Mr. Christopher, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was looking for Voltron Jesus still, but I
Oh,
can't find it. 'Cause actually, to be honest, my
yeah.
eyes are like. Hang on, I'll try to show you. Maybe working in the dark isn't a great idea, but I thought it looked cool on camera. But my eyes are like burning.
It's
And
because
so, like,
you have not stopped all day. Like you've been at your iPad drawing I think 8 now. I think you're on 8, but yeah, that's probably why they're
I'm wondering
burning.
if Barabba was kind of like a false Jesus. Like he was here's Jesus in his way, you know, or Yeshua in
It's
his
pretty
or
simple.
Yeshua.
Barabbas was a criminal. I think he was I don't, was he part of some kind of revolutionary group
Well,
or
I think
something?
that's the deal. Is here's Jesus, whom a lot or Yeshua, whom a lot of people thought was going to be a revolutionary, and then there's this other guy who's like Yeshua Barabba, you know, Jesus, son of the Father, but he's a revolutionary. He it's like he represents what a lot of people what a lot of Jewish people would have thought the Messiah would be.
Well,
You know,
yeah,
some
they
revolutionary.
thought that Jesus was going to be a king or something, and that's
Yeah,
why he was
yeah,
there.
and yeah, that was how a lot of Jewish people at the time, or Judeans would have seen it, or Judahites would have seen it. But you know, maybe the Qumran community, I think, had a different idea of Messiah. That'd be something worth checking out.
Probably, but I think Diana wants to shut things down so she can
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
sleep.
I'm
Well,
not. That
I
sounds
want to.
terrible.
Hey, I want to go to bed too. So, Tim,
Yo,
how's your book sale doing, man?
so far 3 in the U.S., 2 in Germany. That's right, Germany. I'm coming for you.
That's
So
good though,
that's
man. All right, but where? So I can get those at McDonald's.
no. You can get it at Walmart, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and I guess Ingram. So do yourself a favor and get Melvin #1
There you go.
Awesome,
special
man.
edition.
And
Very cool.
you've got the Great Cyclopean #7. 2 more days on Fund My Comic. And
2 more days.
dos. And Diana just pasted the link to it. It's also at the top of the chat in the description. You
Mm-hmm.
can Google the Great Cyclopean and it comes up in that usually, at least in mine, but I have a track record, a history of it.
Okay.
And I think we're the only ones with books right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a Thursday night stream. I've had to remove my latest stream because an open panel and somebody did display something on the screen that I don't know how I'm going to edit it on my iPhone, not iPhone, but Android phone. I don't know why I call it an iPhone.
But
I don't
you
know
should
if I
be
can
able to.
edit the video or what, but they showed
Yeah,
something involved people without their clothes on. Unfortunately.
YouTube Studio might allow you to clip that out.
yeah, you can.
Oh well,
Click
I deleted it before it could even. I was afraid that if I even let the video process, that there'd be some bot. You know, YouTube might use some sort of censorship bot, and I'd get struck. So
Yeah, but you just closed it behind the scenes, right? You just made it private, the video?
I deleted it. I've got a backup copy, but
Oh, okay.
I deleted it on YouTube and Facebook because
So you could upload it to YouTube and they have a YouTube Studio. I don't like the studio because it seems I don't know, it's an online editor, but it works.
could I
But
upload it in MP4 or whatever format?
I think so. I know I
Okay.
have.
Now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lorenzo, you hate late books, right?
Yeah,
But what if I were to tell
I
you?
wish that.
But what if I were to
What?
tell you Melvin 1 was available right now?
Oh, that's cool.
That's right. That's the no 2 month,
I think I have
3 year
Melvin
wait.
one though.
Yes, but this is Melvin 1 special edition.
Like,
It's the
is
stuff
this
without
where
Vic Tinian.
Guido shoots and Han doesn't shoot?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
no. We don't have any of that. But
This is the one where a certain someone isn't in it.
yes.
His artwork and isn't in it.
I'm setting up my last. This is See, I don't actually give a pitch at the end of our show. I just show this. Oh, 3 days to go is a lie. So everybody, when you see that, it's actually 2 days to go. And with that, I'm going to kill the chat. Check out Lorenzo.
Yeah,
at 8
and,
p.m.
and
on
I didn't mean any
Thursdays.
disrespect to my my friends who are like practice rabbinic Judaism, or my friends who practice Messianic Judaism. I didn't mean any disrespect earlier about the Baraba thing versus, you know, Jesus, Yeshua.
That's cross comics, Lorenzo. I'm sorry, the Canadian had me in the trap. I had to show it.
No, that was cool.
Well,
Alright,
you
I'm
guys
still
see
in
my
the
business
train.
card before anyway, so.
We love you guys. Here we go.
Love you too.